Everybody, we're about to hop into our first adventure of the evening, one which I've entitled A Walk in the Vale. And before we do that, as always, we're just going to take a brief moment and introduce our characters. So without further ado, let's get into it. First up, we have Spuds, the Goblin Rogue. Hi, Spuds.
Hi.
How have you been?
All right. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well, Spuds. So tell me, I know that you're currently on a quest to, I believe, learn math.
Yeah.
Have you learned any math yet?
Some.
Really? Anything that you found useful or any good practical application for?
Yeah.
Fair enough. What else is going on, Spuds? What's new in your life?
I learned to read.
You learned to read?
Yeah.
It's only been a couple weeks. That's actually like really impressive.
I'm really good at it.
Wait, did you say you were not or you are good
No,
at
I'm
it?
real good at it.
Real good at it?
Yeah.
Spuds, how did you learn to read so fast? Did
I
someone
know.
teach you?
Yeah.
Oh, who taught you?
Oh. I forgot his name.
Oh,
But the
fair
guy with
enough.
the hat.
I mean, fair enough. Spuds, you just
Wasn't
always
it
seem
the
like
wheelchair guy?
No, he was teaching me math.
Spuds, you always seem like you're in a good mood. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Oh, well, good. Spuds, you've cheered me up going into this. Not that I was in a bad mood, but you've elevated my spirits even higher. Welcome back, Spuds.
Thank you.
Next up, we have a first-time adventurer here in the lands of DnDTime. We have Draegan, the undead human paladin. Draegan, welcome.
Yes. That's me. Hello.
For starters, my condolences.
Yes, I'm dead.
Yes.
Newly risen though. That's good, I think.
Yeah, it's a second lease, I suppose it is. So Draegan, what brings you to the land of DnDTime, and what kind of made you want to take up arms in Bartholomew's adventuring troop?
Well, in life, I did sort of the same thing by myself. Didn't end well. Hoping that it goes better with a troop.
It goes better with a what?
A troop, a group.
Oh, yes. I have a question, Draegan, and I don't know if this is okay to ask, but you're an undead, but you're also a paladin.
Yes.
Do those things conflict with each other? Do your paladin powers ever, can you turn yourself with your turn undead?
I've actually never tried. That's concerning. This requires experimentation.
All right. Well, I hope everything works out for you
Magnan,
on that.
hold my beer.
And yes, I suppose so long as we're addressing Magnan, there's another undead in this party, also a brand new adventurer here in the land of DnDTime. I'd also like to welcome Magnan Smithson. Welcome, Magnan.
Hello.
Now, Magnan, you are also undead, and obviously it seems that you and Draegan are companions or compatriots in some extent or another. What brings you to the land of DnDTime and Bartholomew's troop?
Much like Draegan said, we really just did this stuff before we died, so we might as well keep doing it.
I mean, fair enough. You gotta do what you know, and in this case, you know how to adventure. It sounds like.
Yes and no. It was mostly just, the typical hero stuff. Protect the innocent, don't get paid, all that.
And what's your particular skill set, Magnan? What do you kind of bring to the table as an adventurer?
I was never that good at actually hitting people, but I was always good at keeping people safe, so I would always use my shield to keep them from harm.
Well, I hope that you're able to protect your party today in what threatens to be a pretty dangerous adventure that you're all going out on. Certainly an interesting day for the two of you to begin adventuring amongst Bartholomew's troop, but we'll get into that more in a moment. Welcome, I don't know if I said it to you, Draegan, as well, so welcome both, Draegan and Magnan. It's a pleasure to have you with us tonight. And last but not least, we have joining us once again Lana Coheir. Welcome back, Lana.
Thank you.
So Lana, how have you been? What have you been up to since we last spoke?
Still reeling a little bit from last week's little encounter with a undead lich.
Yes, I understand that. I understand that Lemek reared his head once more. How was that experience for you, Lana?
I didn't even really get to do anything.
I mean, that seems like that's the kind of experience that one has when one fights a lich. You just kind of.
I mean, we finally get that Tarask down, and then he shows up, and next thing I know, I have a rock falling off.
Yeah, the liches will get you like that every time, but I almost forgot. I've heard a few other adventurers speak of this incredible encounter with a Tarask. Were you a part of this, Lana? Did you do battle yourself with this Tarask?
Not much. He was pretty beat up by the time I got up there.
Yes, well, I mean, I was going to say, it takes an army, I would imagine, to bring something like that down. Such an incredibly powerful creature.
I'm surprised I didn't notice it earlier, to be honest, as huge as it is.
Yes, it certainly stands out within the Central City Zoo. But Lana, I'm glad that you're in one piece after what sounds like a pretty harrowing encounter, and ready to get right back out into the adventuring fields. And in that case, let us hop into our adventure without any more further ado. Tonight's adventure brings all of you to the Sacred Vale. For those of you who may or may not be familiar with the Sacred Vale, it is a region in the lands of DnDTime that is blessed in many ways by the gods, as well as it is desecrated by many of the more evil forces in the world. It's there where divine beings kind of walk amongst the mortal realm. Some of those gods, for example, Bloom, the lesser god of flowers, or Sit, lesser god of chairs, those gods who haven't built up quite enough of a following to ascend to some of the higher planes like Celestia or any of the Valhalla. They instead make their home here on the mortal realm, in the prime material plane here in the Sacred Vale. You're likely to encounter all manner of creatures there. But the denizens of the Sacred Vale have been having some issues, and Bartholomew has called the four of you out to begin helping him deal with what those issues are. Where we begin officially, you're kind of walking through the forest. The forests of the Sacred Vale are in this particular region, at least, some areas are fairly blighted, but you seem to be more on the celestial side of things. Beautiful greenery and incredible foliage all around you. It's paradise-like. You see kind of in the distance like a unicorn traipse past you, going about its business. It has a little bit of a limp, though. Everything in the Sacred Vale seems to have somewhat of a dour mood today. And as you're moving through the forest, you meet up with Bartholomew, who is there, your kind of contact in the area. He speaks to you. Greetings, adventurers. I'm glad that you were able to make it here on such short notice.
How?
Yes, hello. Hello to you, Spuds. Normally, I know I would greet you at my shop and we would send you out from there, but I needed to be out in the field today. We have quite a bit going on. And by the way, and as you kind of step up underneath your foot, actually a Draegan, you hear kind of like a click as you step, and there's something underneath your foot that kind of like snaps. Draegan, don't take another step, just keep your foot right there. We'll get to that in a moment.
Should I be worried?
Yes, well, no, not a problem at all. We'll take care of it post. You see, the Sacred Vale has been rather thoroughly trapped. I don't like to. Blame is sort of a broad strokes thing, so I would like to say that our adventuring troop is to blame. Some individuals have said that Bartholomew, you did not take care of this earlier, but you see there's an individual who we've had on our wanted list, so to speak, for some time now by the name of Dop Wizzle. Dop Wizzle is a kobold, and he fancies himself a master of traps. And he's been going about for some time, trapping people's homes and doing things kind of minor. He mostly stays in his own lair and just traps up his house, and not much problem if you're just in your own house. You can put as many fire pits and spikes as he wants in there. But it seems because we've left him alone for so long, he has expanded his operation. It seems that you've encountered one of them right now. I believe that you've stepped on a mine, Draegan, and when you take your foot off, it will explode.
Ah. How do I make it not explode?
Okay, that's a great question. If all of you could just back away, I'm just going to place a shield on you, and then you'll blow up and take a number of damage, and hopefully...
I'm not sure about this plan.
And hopefully it will completely negate all of the damage, depending on how the roll is.
Not entirely sure about this plan.
Don't worry, Draegan, I've got you.
No, you're standing away. I am the one exploding.
If you could all just back away for a moment from Draegan.
Okay.
And I'm going to place the shield on you now. Draegan, you gain 15 temporary hit points. As all of a sudden, up and around you, you just feel this kind of like layer of armor and kind of sheen appear around you. It's very cold. It appears to be perhaps like an armor of Agathis that Bartholomew has casted on you here, a high level one. And then, do you move your foot away?
I lift my foot.
Underneath you, it explodes upwards for 8 points of fire damage, which courses out, and you find the armor completely protects you, and you actually got a little bit of extra temp HP out of the deal.
Oh, that's good, but now I'm on my face. And
yes, the blast. I'm sorry, there's not much I could do about the impact.
My head's on backwards. Hang on.
I got it. Stay still.
Oh, good. It's kind of hard to do things backwards.
Yes. So staying still.
I found your toes.
Staying still would be the correct solution to this, because these are literally everywhere. It seems like you can't. And Bartholomew takes a step, and you just watch as he puts his foot down. A rake just comes up and smacks him in the face. That seemed to be face down upward. Just get off! I'm sorry. I've been in this forest for a while. It's starting to get on my nerves a little bit, but that's the other thing I need to talk to you about.
That one seems a little more childish than exploding.
Some of these don't seem as dangerous as the others.
There's a wide range. He considers himself a connoisseur of the trap, this individual. And, well, getting hit by a rake, but then being kind of exposed to, example, poisonous gas, it can all feel very frustrating at times. I need you all to rise above that frustration. As the Trapmaster Dop Wizzle is planning to use all of this frustration to transform himself into the lesser god of traps. That is what he's doing here in the Sacred Vale.
You could do that? You turn yourself into a god?
Well, if enough people believe in you, and, well, frankly, even I'm starting to believe in him. I don't know how. That's the wrong Spuds. That you don't believe in. Just know that he's
really good at traps.
He's very good at traps, yeah.
I believe in him.
Draegan, why aren't we gods yet?
I don't know. We don't want to be.
You can do it too.
The frustration that people have been feeling...
Well, we have one believer, so that's something.
The frustration that people have been feeding him. So as long as Spuds maintains a positive attitude, everything should be fine. But, well, he's coming now. Walk with me, and please keep an eye out as close as you can. And Bartholomew begins kind of like walking briskly and kind of like stepping. You'll see him occasionally kind of like jump and kind of step around something that's presumably on the ground. You see him, kind of pointing up. He fires a magic missile up into a tree, and you see just triggers like a giant log that swings across a path. And he's just kind of moving his way through the Sacred Vale. We're meeting up with another...
Seems like the Vale of Minor Inconvenience.
Draegan, I don't feel safe.
Don't worry about it. It's just minorly inconveniencing.
Well, it is for now. You'll have to do this yourself once I go. I have other business to attend to, and I need you to look after... here he is now. And you see kind of walking through Walking through the glade, you see an individual walk up. He just seems to be like a man. He's got kind of a beard, maybe middle-aged, gray beard on his back. He has just a very large rucksack, and he's kind of humming and whistling to himself as he walks through, and he kind of greets. Oh, hello there, Bartholomew. It's good to see you. I'm glad that you were able to to find some escorts for me. It has been quite a day. And in addition to this attire, you also see he has what about looks like 5 or 6 arrows in his right shoulder. He has a bear trap clapped around his knee. His skin is like burned in a few places. You can see his clothes are definitely like singed off. It seems that these traps are everywhere, and you know that I just can't stand still. Hello, all of you. Are you going to be my escorts for today?
Is your knee okay?
Oh, that's just fine. I'm a god, so I can take a few traps. It's
I may be concerned about, the arrows.
It's getting on my nerves. I'll tell you that much. I'm trying to maintain a positive attitude, though. That's what Bartholomew recommended. That's what we're all trying to do here in the Sacred Vale.
Positive. Go.
Yeah, okay.
Do you
Do you want me to take that off your
take
knee?
that off? Because, even if you can withstand it, it does seem kind of like a impounded.
And as you're saying that, he's still kind of walking past you, and he just like keeps going as he's talking to you, never seeming to stop. And Bartholomew's kind of now moving along his side, walking with him. You see, this is and he looks back at you. Actually, if you can walk and pull that out of me, that would be lovely. I'd love to get some of these arrows out.
Did we just get outpaced by a man with a bear trap on his knee?
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, he's real good.
Yes,
Bartholomew kind of speaks up now.
Why won't you stop?
This is Amble. He is the lesser god of wanderers. He cannot stop walking. It's part of kind of who he is. And that seems very inconducive to the current environment. I've advised most people just stand still. Traps can't get you if you stand still usually, but he can't.
Right.
So
I've got
What
an
else?
idea for this.
What if he just walked around everywhere instead
I'll
of
just
out?
walk over and pick him up by the waist so he cannot keep walking.
all right, you go over to him and kind of grab onto his waist, and as you do and kind of reach onto him, you find yourself just being pulled along by this individual. Your legs just start kind of like falling into time, and you also start to feel yourself like losing control of your own like muscles to an extent as you start just kind of like wandering around, following this individual's lead. They just kind of like, they're pulling you left, your feet are pulling you right. His path is never fully steady. He's just kind of all over the place, but there's just this incredible desire that comes over you as you kind of grab onto this individual to just go where the wind takes you.
What are you
What are you doing?
Bartholomew speaks up.
I don't know.
He's a god.
I can't stop myself.
And he goes,
Okay, stay still, I got you.
you're gonna go
I
like
can't.
you're gonna go drag him off.
Magnan goes to like grab him around the waist and pull him off.
All right, go ahead and make me an athletics check.
I can do that. Where do I?
I'll provide assistance so he can have advantage on it.
Yeah, you're gonna go up and also kind of help. All right, yeah. Go ahead and make an athletics check with advantage as the two of you go and drag Lana off. Yeah, and 15's enough. As you kind of pull on Lana, Lana, you're like kind of still holding on, and you don't really want to stop. And even after your hand breaks free and you let go, you still kind of walk around for a little bit. But then this strange wanderlust that overcame you kind of dissipates, and you're back to yourself.
This could be a problem.
Okay, don't touch the god.
Yes.
And he continues, and you just see from where he's walking up ahead, just a whole bunch of what looks like
No.
shuriken fly out and just like kind of all hit him in the side.
No,
and he just
stop.
goes, "Oh, this is really starting to." And Bartholomew goes, "Yes, so a god's frustration is bigger than the average individual's. So I just need you to keep him calm, and we're going to keep this individual from becoming some kind of trap god. I have business elsewhere. Can you just escort him for the afternoon? I think he's heading out of the Vale eventually. So
Okay.
just go with him until he gets out of the Vale."
Okay.
Yeah, Magnan takes up like a side and just holds up his shield on like the god's side or something.
Yeah, Draegan will take up the other side and he'll look at like Spuds or Lana and be like, "Could you maybe pull the arrows and shurikens out of him? Probably doesn't enjoy those."
Sure.
I climb onto his leg
Mhm.
and attempt to disengage the bear trap with my thieves tools.
Oh, thieves tools. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and make me a check with your thieves tools. Yep, not a problem. Just a few kind of quick adjustments and knobs. Just a regular bear trap. It just falls apart on his leg, and he goes, "Oh, much better, much better. These knees have seen a lot of miles, and that bear trap was really starting to weigh in. So thank you for that. Well, let's continue." And he's just kind of walking now. Bartholomew, who's kind of like stopped moving and is letting him and you guys go ahead, goes, "Best of luck. Like I said, keep him happy. Happy and walking and going where he's going. I have other fires to put out."
I'm not a good cheerleader. I'm good at this. But actually, I believe in you, Amble. I was a bit of a wanderer myself in life.
That's that's the only way to be. Have you ever considered worshiping me?
Well, I am now. So.
Oh,
I
wonderful. I mean, all are welcome.
right.
I'm hoping someday to, I mean, I certainly like it here, and there's plenty of paths to walk, but I'd love someday to ascend.
Well, sure. I'll keep believers out for you. What do they say?
Thank you very much. Recruit followers, recruit believers. If you're interested, no pressure, of course. Everyone has their own path to take in this life.
Yeah,
That's
believe
true.
in me.
So let's keep moving. And you guys you said you're taking the blades and all the arrows and the shurikens out of his arms.
Yeah.
All right, excellent.
Draegan and Magnan are on protection duty, while the other two are doing that.
All right.
Mag's got his shield raised against stuff that might come from the outside.
Excellent. Do you want to, those of you who are taking out arrows and such, would you like to make me medicine checks?
Sure. Can I do thieves tools?
The bear trap makes sense because it's kind of mechanical. But I think this is more medicine.
Clipping arrows.
Clipping arrows. You're not pulling them out. You're just.
Yeah, you're supposed to clip them and then push them through.
Yeah, sure. I'll give it to you. Yeah, I mean, with a 27, I think you do exactly the good thing that you described. You clip them and you push them through and you make sure everything's kind of patched up. And then Lana's over there making sure that there's bandages for. It's not even like blood that seems to come out. It just seems to be like kind of blue and white light that pours from his wounds as it's coming out. But you bandage them up and it stops. So.
Your weird inner stuff is pretty.
Yes, I didn't know God's blood pretty.
Not all of us, but some of us certainly do. No, it's everyone's different. Now, as you're walking around, those of you who are on guard, I'd like you to just start off by making me a good old-fashioned perception check, because I assume you're looking out for traps.
Oh yeah. Perception. Do I have proficiency in that? I do not. There you
Neither
go.
do I.
All right.
You're better than me.
As you're walking around, you're catching the majority of them, including ones that would affect you, as well as the ones that he needs to watch out for, and you're doing a pretty good job of protecting him thus far. At least on the side of, and I haven't learned. Oh yeah, at least on the side of Magnan, and on the other side, maybe not quite so well.
Yeah, I'm distracted by talking about the religion that the tenets of his religion.
The tenets of his religion you pick up in this conversation are pretty freewheeling. It's actually basically follow your own path are kind of the tenets of his religion. He also just supports walking and general light outdoor exercise. He's a big fan of as well. But
Good cardio.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure,
it
for
is.
sure. But as you're kind of focusing on this, a few stray arrows end up kind of flying in. There's at one point a tripwire that's on your side that he ends up kind of stumbling over, and definitely that one really gets to him a little bit because it stops his forward progress, which he
well,
seems.
Gonna stop shooting the breeze, I guess. Try to do a better job. Sorry, Amble.
It's all
Spuds
right.
has-
It's all right. We're gonna get through this. It seems like I'm just getting a lot more of these traps than everyone else. Maybe it's that guy that keeps that keeps following me. He's been skirting around in the outsides of the woods all day now. I feel like he's the one putting down these traps around me.
What
What?
guy?
Oh, you haven't noticed him? He's and he kind of like points off into the he kind of points off into the woods in the distance. Sorry, I forget. And he points at himself. True sight. And he points over into the distance, and you just kind of make out in the edge of the brush as he points in that direction. Just hear like a sudden flash of movement and some kind of like steps, but they sound like almost like creaking wood that you hear, and then it kind of like takes off. Oh, he's running away now. A strange fella.
Draegan,
Yes.
what are the odds that that's a kobold?
I don't think it's a kobold. It sounded, I don't know.
I don't actually know what a kobold is.
It's like a dragon thing.
Oh,
What's small?
Yeah, but small.
like
It's
the goblin.
spindly. Kind of. They're like goblin dragons. Yes, that's a good
Yeah.
analogy.
Spuds has climbed into Amble's backpack and is just sitting there with his head sticking out and like the flap sort of on top of his head.
Adorable.
Amble has not taken any umbrage or issue with this. He's happy to have the traveling companion as you kind of set yourself up. As you set yourself up a little turret almost.
Hey, Amble.
Yes.
Well, you should look on the bright side. If you hit all the traps, then no one else does.
That's a really positive way of looking at it. Although sometimes it's hard when there's an arrow sticking out of your arm to think that way.
Yeah, we'll just take it out.
You've been doing an excellent job of removing those. I was really impressed. It was completely painless. I don't feel pain, but I know that if I had been the type of person that would feel pain, that I wouldn't have felt it.
Yeah,
Let,
Very good at this.
let me know if you're feeling like fatigued or anything. I think I have something for that.
And he looks down at you. I don't get fatigued, but I would love to know what you've brought. If you have some trail snacks or something like that.
Well, I'm undead, but old habits die hard. And he just pulls out this bag of trail mix with a bunch of nuts and some candy.
I don't know if you may not know this, but that is my absolute number one favorite food. Is trail mix. As he kind of takes the bag of trail mix and begins kind of excitedly just taking out a few pieces, crunching on it for a while, very slow, very very deliberate chewing. It takes a long time to chew each piece, but he's very happy with it as you guys are kind of continuing forward.
I also packed water. Don't know why I keep doing this. I'm dead now.
Spuds takes out a Clint bar and hands it to Amble.
And what are all of your passive perceptions?
13.
Magnan just looks on sadly because he can't eat.
10.
11.
Where do I find that?
It should be
11.
It's
11.
below your skills.
Okay. Did you say 13, Lana?
Yes.
You can see right now, right up ahead of you, a little bit on the path, and right where Amble seems to be about to walk, there is a section of ground that is suspiciously just covered in perfectly flat leaves.
Hold up.
Amble does not hold. Amble does not hold up. He just
Take a
kinda goes-
turn or something.
And he goes, but
Take
I
it.
want
Turn
to.
around.
He goes, but I want to go right there. It's what
I'm
the
pretty
path.
sure that's a trap.
The path, but the path's calling to me. It's right now. It's about
I got this.
30. 30 feet ahead, and he's walking straight for it.
How big is the hole?
The leaves, you're not sure. You don't know there's a hole. There's just leaves on the ground.
How big are the weird what kind of radius? The weird leaves.
The weird leaves have a radius of maybe 20, a diameter of maybe 20, so radius of 10.
Okay.
Don't worry, I got this.
Magnan's just gonna go walk up and activate the trap on himself.
Oh no! You're just gonna dive right in.
That's just kind of what he does. He's not exactly a thinker.
All right, you just walk into the you just kind of walk into the leaf trap, and you fall into a pit. As you fall, you take 2 points of falling damage, and as you reach the bottom, I want you to make me a dexterity saving throw, as there are spikes in the pit that you can try and dodge. They're not like so dense that they necessarily hit you.
Oh god, I have a -1 on.
Oh no.
Well,
oh no, that ain't gonna do it. You also take 3 points of piercing damage as you crash down, and just right up through your undead rib cage, a spike just kind of sticks right through. You have activated the trap. Currently, it looks like Amble is showing no signs of halting, but you have a very clear visual on it. It's not as big. It's not as big as the leaves on the outside would have kind of implied. It's maybe only 10 feet across. You kind of ran ahead and did this. He's maybe 15 feet away now. He's still on a dead course. It seems this person is like determined to walk the way he's walking. Something about his nature.
Draegan,
Yes.
there's a spike in my ribs.
Yeah, well, you fell kind of when it fell in.
I'm gonna try and catch the guy.
No, Lana, we're gonna form a people bridge. Let's go.
I grab him and I throw him over the pit before he hurt.
You grab onto him, and you immediately find yourself once again falling into step with him. He's continuing forward.
I still throw him, so he doesn't.
No, I'm saying you're just wandering. You're back in that wandering mode. As soon as you grab onto him, just like last time. Amble cannot be moved off of his present course.
I can't help him along.
All right, well, I'm
Oh,
gonna
you
form a
can-
person bridge. Magnan, climb up here and help me.
I'd try to climb up, but I might need
He's moving at a pretty slow pace, so he's got some more time. Is someone gonna grab Lana's kind of lost again?
I pry Lana's hands off of Amble.
Okay, yeah, you just reach down. Go ahead and make me. Go ahead and make me a check with your thieves' tools to wedge it in there. Yep, you're good. You pry Lana's hands off, and Lana, you're once again fixed. But it doesn't seem
let me
like
help you let go.
doesn't seem like you can do anything that would require you to grapple this individual.
Well, Magnan, get up here.
Getting closer. He's at about 5. He's about 5 feet. He's like right about to get to the hole now.
Can he, do an
yeah,
athletics check or something?
You don't even need to. You can just climb out. There's like roughage on the walls. You can just kind of snap since you're on there.
right.
You just kind of snap the spike off and climb up.
Now give me your feet, and we're gonna be a bridge.
Oh
All
god.
right. The two of you can do it together, but I'm gonna need an athletics check from both of you. This is definitely, honestly, it might be. No, I'll say athletics. Although it might be just raw strength.
Athletics, sure.
Okay. Combined between the two of you, since it was a combined check, and you can tell that Magnan is doing most of the work as you guys are holding on. And
As usual.
as you start to slip.
Excuse you. I'm
just
trying. I'm not good at being a bridge.
You just feel his body kind of like go extremely like rigid all of a sudden right as you're about to fail, and you manage to hold on as just walking straight along the path. You just see Amble just kind of stepping, walking over the backs of your bodies, and just kind of going, "Ooh, sorry about this. It's just the way forward. Are you okay down there?"
You two make a great bridge.
I have a spike in me.
Spuds, you also ride the bridge across.
He does have a spike in him. It's kind of in my face. Well, the bottom of it.
You
I
end
help
up
them out.
Good job holding that spike.
As soon as they let go, since they've made the bridge, it's like really hard to like undo the bridge. And Lana, you go over and like bring them both over back to the side so they don't just collapse into the spike pit as
Thanks.
Amble just continues on his merry way.
Let's catch up.
Yeah, and just a few quick jogged paces.
It's a lot
and
more
you're back.
problematic than I thought it'd be.
Yes.
Magnan
Let me
just
do the
drops the rest
stupid
of the fight.
stuff, Magnan, please.
But it's my job.
No, it's my job. Your job is to protect people.
I'm not gonna let you be hurt.
I have temporary hit points.
And as you mentioned that you have temporary hit points, you guys move out into an open field. It kind of crests, and in the distance, you can see the rolling hills of the Sacred Vale starting to give way to like less lustrous grass, as it looks like eventually there's like a forest that's maybe not the Sacred Vale, and you're just gonna have to make it through this field. And he kind of starts walking, but as soon as you walk into it, you also just see in front of you, it looks like this entire field is just covered in bear traps. They're just like everywhere, spaced like pretty tight together too.
What's the god's name again?
Amble, and he just starts walking straight through what looks like the least pleasant possible minefield.
Oh my Amble, this is going to suck.
Can I, use my greatsword to brush bear traps out of his path?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and make me an attack roll.
Sure. Can't hit anything.
Oh, rough rolls. Is anyone else kind of helping you out with this?
I'm going to take my javelins and just start setting bear traps.
Just setting off bear traps. Absolutely. Go ahead and make an attack roll. 16. All right. Yeah. Draegan, you're just having kind of a rough day today.
Yeah, it's not good. Maybe I'll just go stomp around in some bear traps to set them off. I'll do that. That sounds more effective.
You only get a few of those, though. As opposed to the greatsword, which lasts a long time. But yeah, Lana, you're kind of javelin and bear traps out of the way, and each one just kind of... and as you're stepping, your passive perception was 13, so you also notice that some of the bear traps, you go to javelin one of them, and some of them are combination mine bear traps, where it's designed so if you try and set off the bear trap, it triggers a mine, and you notice this right before you go to put the javelin down into it. And Amble's heading right for this particular one.
Can you lift it up and throw it?
I don't think I could do it without setting it off.
If we throw the mine, then we can...
Alright, I'm gonna hug it.
No, don't.
No, Draegan, no.
I've got a good idea.
You can do it.
Alright, 13's going to hit.
Set it off the mine.
The mine kind of erupts, and then immediately you just see around the area just as all of it starts to just trigger other bear traps, and the field just starts to explode in a shower of metal and fire that starts to erupt around you.
This is actually pretty fun at this point.
And some of those bear traps, as the explosion happens, are just flying, and it's starting to just rain big chunks of metal that you see down into your area. I know you called out, "Get behind me." I'm assuming you're going up and throwing the shield to block them.
Yeah.
What is everyone else doing as you're about to get hit by bear trap rain?
I guess I'm going to sword them away.
Fair enough.
This is kind of fun, actually. It's like a show.
Go ahead and you make me an attack roll. Why don't you make an athletics check to try and block him away with your shield? Magnan, what about the two of you? You can also just, if you don't want to do anything else, you can just make it a dex save to try and dodge. Or Lana, what are you doing on Spuds?
Well, I'm in Amble's pack still. Amble has a sleeping bag, right?
No, he actually does not. He's got his own little kind of bag of trail mix that he has in there. It looks like he has some water in there, a lantern, a few different small walking sticks, little telescope, but no sleeping bag.
Yeah,
Magnan's
can't
got
stop,
a shield
remember?
base in front of them.
Yeah, but it's just, the aesthetic. The aesthetic of the hiker with the sleeping bag up on the top of their bag, but I guess he doesn't have it.
He doesn't get it.
I'll
He's
take
got
out my
you
own
top of
bag.
his bag.
I'll take on... Well, no, I'm in his bag. I'll
If
take out my own
Draegan's-
sleeping bag and put it over my head, and I guess sort of try and dodge?
Yeah, go ahead and make a dex save.
Yeah. Mag's holding up his shield in front of the goblin duo.
All right. And you're holding it up in front of. You're holding it up again in front of, I imagine, Amble as well.
Yeah, if he's nearby.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry, Amble. I thought there was a sword. But no.
And what's your play, Lana?
I guess I'm just going
Just
to try
trying to dodge.
dodge or knock whatever I can out of the way with my.
Which strategy do you want to use? You want to try and knock him away, or do you want to try and dodge?
I
Dragon
think
can't
knocking
kill
away would
Mantrap
probably
to
be
save
better
his life.
considering my size.
All right, go ahead and make me an attack roll with whichever weapon you choose to knock him away with. 7. So unfortunately, Draegan and Lana, both of you are going to take only 2 points of raining bludgeoning damage, and the traps are kind of like sprung, so they're not like sharp. They're just heavy pieces of metal falling from the air, and one of them strikes each of you at one point. Just.
I guess I can't kill bear traps. That's something I need to write off my list.
Yeah, you'll both bat a few aside, but it's not as effective. However, Spuds, who's rolling real hot tonight, as well as you, Magnan, you managed to keep them all off Amble. You're just throwing the shield up and protecting Amble, or actually, you throwing the shield up and protecting Amble, and knocking them. And then, additionally, on the shoulder, Spuds, you just kind of like a few occasional dodges. You're fine. It's easy. These things are moving slow compared to your 19, and you're pretty good. And Amble's kind of continuing onward, and as he is, you guys kind of hear a sound in the distance, and that sound it just sounds kind of like a sad cry, almost a. Is the best I can do for it, and it sounds mournful, and it sounds like. It sounds almost like wood creaking, but there's something very kind of, like I said, sad about it.
How much do you want to bet that's what we saw before?
Going to bet you maybe, I don't know, an eye. I don't
think
have
you're
an
right.
eye.
We don't need those.
I don't have an eye anymore. That's why I was willing to bet one.
Perfect.
I
And
don't know.
as you hear this,
Don't bet your eye.
It's his grandson.
and as you hear this, Amble kind of turns directions. Oh, what's that? And he begins moving in the direction of it. And in the distance, you can see a figure that was before obscured. It now looks... it's humanoid in shape, but it appears to be made out of wood. Its head looks like a big, wooden box. There's some, elements of stone and stuff on its body, too, as you're getting closer. But it's this, kind of weird-looking construct, almost. And in the bear trap hail, it looks like a couple of the bear traps got stuck to it. And it's now kind of, just stuck to the ground and trying to pull bear traps off his legs and making kind of pathetic noises, and Amble's kind of walking in its direction.
Should we help it?
I think we should.
Yeah.
Let's help it out. Spuds, do you need a hand down so you can go help it with your tools and such?
Okay.
Okay. And Draegan will pick up Spuds and set him gently on the ground.
All right. As you're moving through this field, it's pretty much all been cleared of traps at this point from the big explosion. So
Watch your step, little guy.
You're pretty clear to just walk through and well, there's not too many traps left. But Amble's slowly moving forward. Do you guys want to there's no traps immediately in his line. They all got set off by that. Do you guys want to jump ahead of him and get to it? Or are you going to wait till he gets to it to go there?
I go ahead.
I'll go ahead with him.
Magnan will stick with Amble.
I'll stick with Amble as well. Start looking around just in case any more traps or anything shows up.
Okay. In that case, you guys kind of hang back a little bit, and you get a bit ahead, Spuds, and you get up next to this creature. Like I said, as you get closer, strange humanoid, wood robot kind of thing, and its legs are stuck in the traps, and it's trying very ineffectively because its hands. It's almost kind of cute. As you get closer to it, its hands are its hands are these just square rectangles. It's Minecrafty almost in its shape, in the cubism of it, and so it can't really unclench the bear trap because it just has these wood blocks for arms, and It has kind of like two painted eyes on the front of it, and it's trying to like undo this bear trap and making these like kind of.
Hey there, little guy. Is it little?
It's medium.
Okay. Hey there, guy. Don't worry, we're friendly. My little friend here, Spuds, is gonna help you get out of that.
Master surgeon.
It kind of looks up at you, and you see like the painted eyes on the front of it seem to like almost animate and move a little bit and kind of blink, and they look up and kind of look at you pleadingly, Spuds, and then kind of like gesture down to the bear trap that it's struggling with.
How?
I go over.
All right.
I just look at it. How? And then I start to get to work.
Okay.
And Draegan will like kneel down and talk to it, I guess. Like it'll be all right. He's really good at this. He's done things with tools that I have never seen people do with tools.
And so yeah, you begin kind of like going through and effectively moving the bear trap off of it, and you're really good at this. And so as you go and kind of pull the bear trap, you kind of click into it, and it starts to like kind of fall away, and then it doesn't really move, and you see that the bear trap actually seems to be like not just his leg's not stuck in it, it's his foot.
Oh my Amble!
And all of a sudden you've been hearing just the sound of kind of creaking wood, but out of the kind of the center of it, it doesn't seem to be just like the movement of this creature that you're hearing anymore. A strange and very shrill laugh kind of comes from the center of this figure, and it sounds...
I don't like that.
And
Goblin!
And this figure just all of a sudden erupts as spinning blades kind of course out of its chest. I need both of you to make me dexterity.
It's a trap! One time I could roll.
Nice. Both of you will take only half of this giant spinning blade damage, as that's just a D12. So you take 3 damage each of slashing damage as these blades move out of its form and kind of extend outwards around it. And as soon as they do, this kind of like just blocky wood form extends, and it becomes significantly more intricate. You see that he's got bear traps on his feet and hands, and its mouth is one big kind of like chomping bear trap. On its,
I'm okay.
Its form, you can see it's got like a chest that's made of like stone, and there are various like you can see spots on it that clearly look to be like arrow notches that are meant for like arrow traps on its actual body. I would like you all to roll for initiative.
It's a trap golem, I guess.
Amble's just kind of walking for it, so he changes his course a little bit once he realizes that it's not a creature in distress, though. Less interested in it. And the walking trap is going to roll. Ooh, the walking trap goes first, and immediately as it acts in that case, you see out of the center of its it's going to reach down first over towards you, Spuds, and the big kind of bear trap mouth goes to bite down on you. That's an 11.
Nope.
Oh, it's good. That was a big damage one, too. And then you see it's with its right hand out of it. You see a rope begins to like animate and coil and is going to move over at you, Draegan. I assume that hits 19?
Yes, that hits.
The rope at the end of it, you can see it has like a snare on it, and it lashes around kind of your midsection as it extends and then closes, kind of restraining you and kind of tangling you up. It's right there adjacent to you. It's got you restrained at the moment. You also take 4 points of slashing damage from the rope itself, as it kind of burns.
Good, I think. Why is there a snail?
Oh, and then actually you still have temporary hit points, right?
I lost them now, but yes, I had.
But you had them at the time, and as it hits you, you watch as the temporary hit points, the armor of Agus that was put on you, explodes outwards and hits it for 15 cold damage. Some of like the pieces of it kind of like frost and freeze over as the last remnants of that spell that Bartholomew put on you kind of dissipate.
Oh, that's cool! I didn't know I could do that. That was.
And
Draegan, that's awesome.
that's all for the
Yeah, I
walking...
know, right?
That's all for the walking trap's turn. And that's going to bring us around to... it's going to bring us to Magnan. What do you want to do?
Okay, Magnan lets out a cry of
Draegan!
and runs towards him.
All right. You going to get right up next to him?
Yeah, just like try and get his shield between the monster and Draegan.
Okay, yeah, I mean, they're like right next to each other. It's kind of got them restrained and grappled. So, but you,
Okay.
you get as close. You get as close as you can. You still have an action.
Cut the rope. That's
Okay, go ahead and make an attack roll against the rope. Good idea.
which one's that?
Whatever your kind of weapon is.
Oh, long.
Okay, great. Oh, yeah. I mean, roll damage, but there's almost no way that you don't destroy it. Oh, the way you roll damage is you click on the word longsword where it appeared in chat, and click on the one.
Okay.
There it is. Oh, so 6 points of damage. Yeah, it'll automatically roll the crit for you there. And you reach down and slice through the snare, and you are no longer grappled. You're still kind of like restrained, and your arms are kind of like bound. Actually, no, with the crit, I think you just cut clear through the apex and just completely free. You've totally freed Draegan at this point. And yeah, it kind of the rope retracts what's left of it and pulls back into the creature. And you've taken out its right snare. Anything else on your turn? Nice.
No, that's about it. Just he just says, "Get behind me."
Nice.
Get behind me.
Nicely done. In that case, that's going to bring us next to Lana. Lana, what do you wish to do?
I put the order in the chat.
Oh, wonderful.
Alright, I think I'm going to... Now, is the trap golem bound to the ground, or is actually...
No, it looks like those bear traps that it was pretending to be caught in were actually its feet.
Okay.
Did I remove a foot?
You made one of them, like, yeah, basically. You've effectively removed a foot. It's still got like a chunk of wood that it moves around on, but what's the play, Lana?
Master Surgeon.
Well, in that case, I'm going to take my great axe to its other side.
All right. 15 is going to hit, actually. Go ahead and roll damage on that. For 15 points of slashing damage. Oh, a meaty strike. As you cut into it, it kind of hits into the stone section around its chest. And with that strike, you hit it and it kind of cracks, but you also see your axe kind of sinks in a little bit, as it seems you've made contact with its pressure plate. And I need you to also make me a Constitution saving throw as this thing's reeling backward. 20, nice. Done. Oh, man, you guys are rolling hot, except for Draegan.
Yeah, I just have bad luck, I guess.
This
is why I'm here.
This isn't technically an attack roll, but it's just going to appear as one. You take half of that, so you take 4 points of poison damage. As soon as you strike it, it kind of like a plate on its body sinks in, and from one of those like arrow notches, you see some like poison gas seep out and kind of blast out to where you were as you've hit the pressure plate on its form. But it also takes a whopping 15 points of damage. It's made of like stone and wood and stuff, so it doesn't seem like just straight up slashing damage is the best way to go, but it's still a sizable hit, even though it seems like it might be resistant to that particular type of damage. Anything else on your turn, Lana? Nice strike.
I should have popped this first. Pop my rage.
I'll give it to you. We'll say that you did the extra 2 rage damage. You're in a rage. So we'll say that was 17, so halved to 8 in that case. So yeah, you go into a ferocious rage, and then we'll move on to Dre.
Yes, let's see if I can hit maybe not the bear trap part of the golem.
You're gonna avoid its pressure plate.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to hit it with the greatsword.
All right, swing away.
Aha!
That's absolutely gonna hit. Roll damage.
Have at you!
All right, yeah, that hits, and you hit it. You rolled high enough such that you don't actually hit any of the pressure plates. As you slam into it, you find you're kind of like looking at its form now and seeing where it is. Even in the kind of the flow of combat, you manage to find kind of a wedge that you can hit your sword into and strike it for 9 slashing damage without triggering any of the traps on the creature's body. You hit it for 9. Again, it doesn't seem super effective against it, but it's really quickly starting to get beat up. As we move next in initiative to Spuds.
Now, did you say there was someone inside of it?
Nope. You heard a voice come from inside of it. That kind of very high-pitched and shrill laugh.
Okay.
Spuds, do the thing.
Hey, nice traps.
As I attempt to disable a trap on it.
Oh, shit! Go ahead and make a... This is going to be a Thieves' Tools contested by this creature's athletics. You go and kind of like jump up onto its form and try and just like take apart like the big bear trap mouth and shut down that bite attack completely. However, it just kind of throws you off and you're kind of pushed down to the ground. Is that all for your turn, or do you have a bonus action?
Yeah, I'll bonus action, and I'll do bonus action disengage and walk away.
All right, you take a few steps back, and that brings us around to the top of initiative. On the Living Trap's turn, they are going to they're going to use their bite attack, and they're going to bite, I think, down at you, Draegan, who's right in front of them there.
Can I impose disadvantage on that?
You can only impose. I'm sorry, I meant to say you. I guess I said Draegan, so I'll do Draegan. So yeah, you impose disadvantage on Draegan. I was actually meant to have him attack you, Magnan, so you got out of this. And so disadvantage 14. So 14 hit you, Draegan.
It does not.
All right. It's just about the 18's just about to come down and get you. And then the shield from Magnan comes up and blocks it and pushes it aside. It's going to also use its other hand. It has its other snare. It's got one left, and it's going to try and this time snare you. It's going to try and snare you, Magnan, and that's definitely going to hit. 23. This time the rope flies out. You take 3 points of slashing damage, and the rope flies out and kind of coils around you, restraining you much in the way that Draegan was restrained last time. And that's actually no. Also, one more thing happens at the end of the Walking Trap's turn. You see all of a sudden on the ground around it, you see kind of a piece of its body shoot out and just a whole big. This strange like string seems to create like a small barrier on the ground around it, and it kind of digs into the ground with little spikes, creating almost like what looks like a tripwire. It's really close range, so it doesn't look like it would have any effect, but it looks like tripwire. Strange action it takes, and that's all for this creature's turn. As we move now to Magnan, what do you want to do?
Right, come here.
Magnan grabs onto the rope and tries to hold it towards him, I suppose.
Okay, you grab the rope, and you're trying to. The creature's like right up next to you already.
Headbutt it on.
All right, go ahead and make me an unarmed strike, Righteous. It has disadvantage because you're restrained, but you can still.
Wait, which one's unarmed?
Go ahead and make it. It'll just basically. If you use your longsword, it'll just do kind of less damage than the longsword, but you can just use the longsword for the attack, and it does a flat damage. Oh my god! 24 a crit is going to hit. All the crits today, so many of them. And for unarmed strike, it would normally deal 1 plus your strength damage. What's your strength modifier?
I think it's 2.
Okay, so 2. It would normally deal 3 damage for an unarmed strike for you, but because you crit, it deals 4 damage, and you bring kind of your head into the creature and just slam it, and you're headbutting stone, so it definitely hurts. Well, it doesn't hurt. You're undead. You headbutt stone, and the creature like definitely has some cracks in it, and it's
Skull
looking...
beats stone.
Bone beats stone. That's a good rhyme. An old rhyming saying. And I think that. Anything else on your turn? Bonus action still.
I don't know what bonus actions are.
You have a second.
Can I
wind,
try to?
think, if you
Can I
wanna
try
use
to
it.
get out of the trap?
That's an action to try and break the restraint.
Right. No. He just says,
Draegan, get me out of this.
And all right, that's going to bring us to.
The snare's on the other foot now, isn't it?
It's going to bring us to Lana. This thing's looking pretty beat up. Lana, you with me?
Yeah, just having a connection issue.
No problem. Your move. What do you want to do?
All right, I think. Well, he's kind of restrained right now himself, trying to pull down Draegan. So I think I will try to use that to my advantage and knock him into his own little trip.
All right, you're going to try and shove him?
No, it's a trap golem. That would be stupid. I'd be using my great axe to knock him in.
Okay, so you're going to make an attack roll. Go ahead and make an attack. 20 will hit and not trigger his thing. Nice. You guys are rolling high. Roll damage on that. A total of 14, so halves to 7, but this thing is getting beaten up real hard. You bring your great axe downwards into the kind of the frame of it, and it pierces through the chest, kind of cutting through the rope, and you see as you hit it, it staggers back, and it begins to fall over the tripwire that it itself laid. Would you care to describe your killing blow that's been set up for you at this moment, as you finish the creature off?
What does the tripwire do?
It seems like it trips. He just was using it instinctively, but the people were too close to get tripped.
Well, as I'm looking at it, it just kind of... It looks like it trips over into one of the holes that the series of mines had made.
Yes.
In sort of a comical, anticlimactic finish.
The axe comes down, it trips backwards, and then tumbles and rolls backwards, and then just lands like a scrap heap on a pile of bear traps. The rope is cut.
Magnan's still restrained by this.
No, I was saying with the axe strike, it also cut the rope. I was saying.
Oh, no, that went very good.
Yes, and with that. The living trap is defeated, and as it kind of tumbles down to the as it kind of like tumbles down to the bottom of the cliff, you just hear once more that voice and that terrible laugh kind of coming from within it, just that as it and kind of crashes. Amble is about 60 feet ahead of you, walking over towards the forest. What do you guys do?
We gotta go. Come on.
While they're going after Amble, I'm going down there and pulling that thing to pieces.
Magnan will stick with Draegan, even if he does want to go check out what.
Magnan, good using your head.
Spuds runs after him and climbs back into the backpack.
All right, you run up, you climb into the backpack. Yeah, he's moving at a leisurely pace to catch up, no problem.
So as I was saying, is there any sort of heretical thing people say to you that's bad, or like, what goes against your religion? It's just picking up like nothing happened.
Stop!
So as I'm taking this thing apart, am I finding anything?
We'll come back to that in 1 second. We'll finish up with Amble really quick here. Amble goes, well, sometimes I'm aware that people have to stop. We can't all walk forever. I know I'm a god. But it just, like I said, follow the wind. Go where your instincts take you. Enjoy the open road. That's really what we're about. I guess something that would be heretical would be to, well, taking the same path more than once. I know some of those Central City folks. They love to just walk the same path, the most efficient route right to where they're going, and, well, I would call that heresy in my particular faith.
Not a word, Draegan.
Why?
We're undead and doing the exact same thing we did in life.
It's fine.
As you guys kind of wander,
I'm excited to see explore the new possibilities of being undead.
And as you guys kind of wander away, he kind of is moving his way out of the Sacred Vale, which seems to be the region that is trapped. And with a few more small disarms, you successfully escort Amble away into a safer place without causing nearly any frustration for him. You guys did a great job of keeping him safe. And as you're walking away, and as you're walking away, he kind of looks back.
Hang on, I'll pull that out.
Oh yeah, Bartholomew said that I should give you these papers. So here
Spuds
you are.
removes the spike.
Oh, nice. He hands each of you 100 Bartholomew bucks, as well as you each gain 1 point of experience for completing this adventure. So if you were level 1, you're now level 2. However, you guys kind of walk off into the sunset with Amble, and then eventually, I imagine, go your own ways.
Wandering, as Amble puts it.
Spud falls asleep in the backpack.
Spud walks
Is never seen again.
with Amble. However, back at the pit, back at the pit of traps, you see Lana there, kind of tearing apart the remnants of this this living trap creature, trying to find whatever is within it. And as you do so, you eventually reach into the core of its chest where that sound was coming from, expecting to find a kobold. And what you find inside, it appears to be a small speaker shaped in kind of the head of a kobold. The kobold head has like a number of scars on it. It only has one eyebrow. It is looks like a creature that has been heavily affected by traps at various times in their life. As you kind of pick it up and are holding it, you just hear that voice kind of come within. Really rooting through it, aren't you?
All right, you little punk. When I find you, I am going to tear you to pieces.
What did you think?
And make you like this little speaker here.
Oh, I'll never be like that little speaker. That little speaker's got something inside of it that I don't.
Run.
I crushed it before he even has a chance to set it off.
It's bad.
And then you just hear in your hands the little speaker start going ding, 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 ding. And in the distance as you're walking away, you hear a big kind of explosion. Lana, you're casted backwards. The explosion, an incredible amount of force. Not quite enough to, it doesn't seem to do so much damage as it does just send you cascading backwards. And with it, an incredible amount of smoke that seems to fly up into the sky and kind of coil and writhe, forming a phrase in the air. The Trap Master rises. And then kind of next to it, and just kind of signed in what looks like scroll, you see the name Dop Whizzle.
Well, that's not that ominous at all.
That's pretty
I'm sure
cool.
it's fine.
And with that, you guys have completed Adventure 1. Congratulations on your victory. As the land of DnDTime is in absolute chaos, the shop is unfortunately closed for the day, as it always is on Myth Battles. But I think that's going to do it for us. So again, thank you guys very much for playing. It was a lot of fun.
Magnan was given paper that he has no idea what to do.
Jeremy, are you here?
I'm here. Hopefully someone explains to Magnan what that paper can be used for.
Headbutting more trap golems.
That's probably...
You buy things with it, Magnan. It's money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll be back very soon.